I am a harmful algal bloom scientist, phytoplankton ecologist. I want to talk briefly about two areas, a line of research and an educational project we have. 99.99% of the HAB research on human impacts has focused on shellfish, that bottom loop. Well, oops, I didn't touch it, did I? Well, I'm interested in the aerosolization of toxins. People don't realize you can actually breathe in a red tide. Those cells get aerosolized, break up in the surf, they get into the aerosols and you breathe them. Well, if you've ever wondered how a line of research starts, I was working about a year ago in an experiment in the lab. I was feeding one of my HAB species dissolved organic carbon, humics, tannins. And I got to thinking, wait a minute, what if this is, I don't think of this as carbon and nitrogen, what if I think of this as organic acids? And you know, it's changing the physical chemistry, the characteristics of the water. Maybe that might affect aerosolization. And two interns and a collaboration with Steve Archer later, I can say, yes, it does affect aerosolization. And I've learned how to say that word fast. The thing about this, why it's so interesting, why it excites me, is right now, if you live on a pond with scum, there's no way to mitigate that effects of breathing in those toxins. If you live at the beach, no. This may present a way to do that, add DOC and reduce that aerosolization. And right now we've just submitted to NIH to explore the physical processes of aerosolization, and we're planning to submit to NOAA to look at it as a mitigation technique. The other thing I'm interested in and excited is a very small project. We're in year 2. This is essentially a project that is an experiment in virtual high school science education. Myself with collaborators at the University of Maryland and Charles Darwin University in Australia. We're funded by the Department of State in year 1 and the Australian government in year 2. And we're essentially creating a virtual program for high school students on the urban water cycle. And if you look at me and say, what's an urban water cycle? A hydrological cycle is how that water drop makes it from the cloud, percolates down to the ocean. What we consider the urban cycle is how that drop makes it into your tap. What happens to that drop when you flush the toilet? How does it get treated? How does it impact the environment? And we've developed a series of modules on the web for these students. We paired 8 US schools and 8 Australian high schools, junior level, and they work their way through these modules. And they enter their own data, and at the end it calculates certain statistics about them. They can compare their results, water usage, with their Australian counterpart, other US schools, Australian schools. But what really excites me about this project is the cultural aspect. Our most successful pairing in year 1 was Boothbay Harbour and Tasmania, which is an island state in southern Australia, And talking to Lauren Graham, the high school teacher, what she's told me, despite the fact Boothbay's made huge advances in their STEM education in the last 10 years, there's still kids here at this high school that probably will never leave the state, and certainly will never leave the country. So what they've been doing is Skyping each other. And I'm done now, but it's exciting to have these students actually talk about somebody else's accent and be worried about their having their own accent. So it's open windows. So anyway, thank you.